And we are back on the Rodriguez Show here on Hits 101 Radio, and we have our final guests for the episode. Now, let me take you guys back to June 15th, 2018. You came in with what was it, like a Mario chain or something like that?
Yeah, the Luigi Lego chain.
Yeah. The Prince THS is here. How's it going, man?
What's good, man? It's doing real good, man.
Yeah, it's been a while, and you brought your executive producer on your new album, Manifest Destiny.
Yeah, I did.
Chris, how's it going, man?
Oh, dude. Excellent, man. Blessed. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. Glad to be here, man.
Yeah.
This is dope.
Yeah, thank you. Manifest Destiny is streaming now on all platforms. You go ahead and check that out.
Yes,
look it up. It's a great album. How you been, man? It's been a while.
I've been good, just busy. I've been good, just busy.
Yeah, I see that you've been working since you were here.
I've been trying, man. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been doing everything I could possibly think of.
Yeah. And when I was listening back to the interview, one of the things that we talked about back then was the Nipsey Hussle was one of your influences, and you know, ever since you were here, like, how was that for you? I mean, obviously it was hard, but like
it was. I didn't believe it. I was at a cipher. I was doing the cipher on Melrose at the time. So while we were filming, I heard he got shot. And I'm like, dang, another rapper got shot. I didn't think he was gone though.
Yeah.
I just thought, okay, you know, he got shot. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. By the time I made it to somebody's house, they was like, nah, he gone. I'm like, he gone? They like, yeah, he gone. And it was just like dead silence. I was like, man, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't seem right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't figure it out. And I never watched I couldn't watch the video because they show it. I didn't want to see it.
Yeah. We were here in the studio recording the show, and it was a bad time, man.
Yeah.
But he was a great influence on your music, and you guys are, and you know, we as like a Southern California music scene, we're still pushing everybody. You know, after it was like the marathon continues, we're all pushing, man. So. Shout out Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. I didn't mean to start on a bad note. It was just like it was a big influence.
That's true. I mean, he was not only an influence on myself as an artist, like a lot of other artists, but the city of Los Angeles. He was a really good role model. You know, for a lot of people, he was a big influence in a lot of different ways. Yeah, you know, so it just sucks.
Yeah. And now I have to switch it to something more positive. The album. Yeah. How long did it take for you to make that? How long was the process of the album?
I want to say it just took all of last year, like all of 2019. There was maybe 3 songs on there that I had recorded before last year. Yeah. And I just sat on like 3 tracks. Everything else was all of last year, like down to when was it, like November, when I said I'm not recording nothing else? Yeah. It was like November. Yeah. So basically, but that was good though. Literally it took all of last year for the most part. Yeah. You know.
And how did you choose Chris to work with? How did you guys come together for this?
Okay, so I know Chris through a mutual friend of ours. His name is Oso California. Shout out to Oso California.
He's on the album, yeah.
He's on the album. I think right now his Instagram is The New California.
Yeah.
But if you Google
for Oso, now, you got about a week before he changes it.
Yeah. So I met Chris through Oso, and then from the first recording session I had with Chris, it was a 4-hour block, and I just crammed so much into that. But he was able to work with me a lot, and we just had a really dope chemistry. And he's local. He's out of Long Beach on the borderline of Compton, and I'm on the north side of Long Beach. So it was just like it was like a home. It was like a second home, like almost instantly. So I just felt very comfortable. And you gotta have that type of feel when you're gonna do a whole body of work. You definitely gotta feel comfortable where you at. Yeah. So it just felt right. Yeah. You know what I mean? It just felt right.
So what was your role as the executive producer? Like, what would you?
Me really to keep him focused, man. One of the things that Prince has a really rough time with is making sure that every word you can actually hear him. Yeah. And he'll spend at least an hour making sure that the phrasing is right, the timing is right, and he's always the one that says I can do it better. It could be a week later when we're done mixing, he can go, you know what, Chris, I could do that better. Let me go back in. And I just got to be open and ready for that. And, you know, I tried to be the whole time. So
How'd you feel about the moment where you started cracking up with that one song where you were like, I can't do it. I can't do it without laughing.
It's a fact, man.
What was the ponytail where he's like, I'll pull your whole weave out.
Yeah.
Don't even. He goes,
You better
"I'll
not
pull your-
cry."
You better not cry. I'm gonna pull your weave out. Well, if you haven't heard the song, it's not violent. It's just talking about I need a girl with a ponytail.
It's called Ponytail, man. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Shout out to Ponytail.
Yeah, man.
That was just one of those lines where the whole song was.
Yeah.
I wanted to take a step back and not be so serious, and I was just joking around. That was one of those lines when I was in the studio with Chris. I said it to see if he was going to tell me I need to change it because I almost didn't even say that. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, it's funny, and I can't help but laugh every time I say it. Every time before I even perform the song, I start laughing. I look at Chris like, you already know what I'm about to say. Like, so it was just something to be funny, and we just decided to go ahead and keep it. Like I know people was going to have something to say about it.
It was fun though.
It's a fun track.
It's a fun track.
It's a fun track.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So what is your favorite track if you had to pick one?
Oh man.
And you, Chris, same question for you after.
Probably On the North.
On the North?
The North.
The North,
I changed it to The North. That's probably my favorite one. Just because I am from Long Beach, but thanks to Snoop, everybody just they think about the East Side.
Yeah.
That's what's known as the East Side. So I did do a song called The City
The
for
City
the whole
was on
city.
it, yeah.
But the North is just drawing attention to my particular part of town. So I think that's I want to go with that as my favorite just because I've played this album so many times. But that's the one where I usually just like, I take a step back, I turn it up, I relax, and I just listen to it like that.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite one.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
I would have to say Stop Tripping.
Stop Tripping.
I do.
Yeah, that's a highlight.
That one is such it's a West Coast jewel, man. And the way Prince just tackled that one, and he didn't even record it at my spot. It was just something that he was at where were we? Cuddy's.
Cuddy Dre. Yeah,
Cuddy
Cuddy Dre.
He
Spank
did it
Blue
there.
was here last time.
And it's just a crazy track, and the positive message that he has on it, it's just amazing to me. So
I
that
think-
one too, I like Amazing. You know.
Oh, yeah.
There's Amazing, and then there's Remix too, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Hold on. I don't want to. We gotta draw some attention to some of these tracks. So Stop Tripping. Cuddy Dre, who you
Cuddy
know,
Dre.
Cuddy
Yeah,
Dre
yeah.
produced
Yes, sir.
that.
Yes, sir.
The song he just titled the beat itself "Stop Tripping,"
Yeah.
and then he gave it to me, and it became the name of the song.
Oh,
so
and-
that's because of him. That's how it started, and whatever. But Amazing, the original track, Amazing, I produced that one, and then Chris did the remix.
I
And
see.
so when you say my favorite track, Amazing is my favorite beat that I've ever made in my entire life. And then the remix that Chris made, it battles that song because I love that. I love the remix.
Yeah.
I can't hate on it.
So
I love
you
the
had to
remix.
put both of them on.
Yeah, exactly. I had to put both of them on there because of that.
So yeah, the beats on this are crazy, like like in a good way. Like one, it's like really intense energy, but then it's perfect switch to something different. Like I never got tired of listening to the beats because they kept changing.
Thank you.
How was that process? Did you do it consciously?
Once we had all the tracks that I wanted to go for the album, you want to put together a flow. You know what I mean? You got to put the songs in an order. And I think I just decided to go from the highest energy down to the lowest energy. But there's really not any slow tracks. Even the slower songs is still kind of upbeat.
Yeah.
But I went with the craziest stuff first. I did the fast stuff, and then I did bars. So yeah, it was. I tried to start highest to low,
like, bring it
and
down.
then I just kept fine tuning it to see what made sense, what flowed, transition one song to the next. So it took some time.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. When I was listening to it, I was like, I hope like he slows it down next. And then I did, and I was like, oh shit, me and him are on the same wavelength. It might have just been the edibles, I don't know. But yeah, that song, Do Better, I thought that was good. It was a perfect like transition from what was before it. So that man.
Yeah.
Is there any other what was like a hard song where you couldn't, that took a while to crack?
That song didn't make the album. I had a song called Champ, and I just couldn't pull it off the way I wanted to pull it off. I made the beat; it was crazy beat, but my delivery, it just never came out the way I wanted it to come across. So that song didn't make the album. I like it, but it's me. I didn't do what needed to be done on that track. So that's probably something I'm gonna go back and revisit. But as far as everything that made the album, everything that's on the album just flowed so easily. So when you talk about the order of the songs, it just felt right. You know what I'm saying? So all those songs, I don't think with everything that's on there, I don't think
It just kind of worked.
it just worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's tight, man. Yeah. So we talked about the collaborations. Cuddy Dre, who who's been on the show. Spank Blue, who was here last time, also California, and then Rio de Janeiro, your brother.
Yep.
How did you decide what song to put him on? Because you probably have access to him to be like, hey, do it on this one. Or
yes and no. My brother is an artist himself, so he's crazy busy, and he lives in Chicago still.
Okay.
So the way this worked out this time, I was like in the middle of the album. And I reached out to him like, what you got for me? And he sent me 3. He sent me 3 beats, and he's like, you can pick whichever. And so actually, I picked that song, Drop Down, and then the other 2 we ended up collaborating on, but they're separate. They're not on the album. Now, Money Talk was his. Money Talk was his song, and it has another guy. His name is Skrilla. Shout out to K Skrilla. But we already shot the video for that. That's been out or whatever. But I was reaching out to him again when I was towards the end of the album. I was like, I feel like it's missing something. I'm like, what else do you got? And he was like, dude, Money Talk, like that song. He's like, why you don't want that? I'm like, well, I do, but it's 3 people on the song. How can I put that on my album and call it mine? Yeah. And so he was like, well, you can always have multiple versions to a song. So he gave me a second verse. So on the album, actually, it's just he has one verse and I have another verse because he decided that it would have been too long
to have
with three verses. Verses. So now you have the version that's just my brother's verse and my verse, and that song went through a process, but that's how it ended up on the album.
Yeah. Well, it's good, man. I feel like the people that you chose, because some people try to like stuff it with like features and stuff. It was the perfect amount, and they all worked. I mean, this album, it's hard. I don't want to like be like praising it so much because I'm gonna be sucking your dick right now. Manifest Destiny. I think it's like one of those where it's hard to keep. As an independent artist, sometimes it's hard to keep people's attention on an album, and in this one, it kept my attention all the way through.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
that. So, is there anything about your style since the last time you were here, in this last year and a half, that has changed, like the way your music is? Have you noticed?
I think I've learned a lot more about what I can do and how it comes across and things like that. My brother, Rio de Janeiro, he studies, the industry and music and the crowd reactions and all these things. So I think I've tried to fine tune things here and there and execute things in a way that it'll come across a little bit better, and just learning all the different styles and trying to like just cover all my bases. I think with this album versus the last album, the last time I was here, it didn't change that much, because I was looking at this interview and I said, I'm gonna give the people what they want to an extent, but I'm still gonna go in there and say what I want to say and hope it come across, hope it gets received very well. So the only thing that has changed is I've grown, I've matured, and I've stepped away from doing so much of what I want to do, and it was trying to just capture so many different audiences. Like you said, Stop Tripping, that's a lot of people's favorites, but it's kind of got an old school feel to it. So my uncle, that's the only track he liked on the whole album, but he's like, that's the hottest song all year. I played number 5 over and over and over. But it's like, okay, so I didn't want to just capture the younger crowd. I didn't want to just capture any one particular target. I wanted to cover everything. So just learning how to do that, and like I said, not having so many features, not having so many of the same types of songs. So I've learned a lot from my mistakes. So that's the biggest difference between last year and right now. I've learned from a lot of my mistakes, or not necessarily mistakes, but just things that I feel like I could have done better or different. So
and it really shows on Manifest Destiny.
Thank you.
One thing I wanted to ask is, you still perform at strip clubs?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I haven't been at Crazy Girls yet. Well, I mean, this is January, but I performed at Crazy Girls a few times. I performed at V Live. I'm gonna probably be at Deja Vu. I'm gonna probably be at the Spearmint Rhino. Hell yeah.
I will not be anywhere near
that.
No, sir.
He's like, just so everybody knows, I will not be there.
Near. No, baby, I will not. I promise. I will not do it. Maybe once.
Maybe I gotta support my.
I was trying.
Exactly.
I was trying.
PCB Empire. You still tight with them? You know, Yogi's here.
Hell yeah, that's the family. Shout out to Yogi, aka Todd Reese. That's the family. All that really groups from the Hot Shots, THS. That's why that's in my name.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't say that wrong. Even though we spell it with a dollar sign, TH$THS, you cannot say that wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But True 100, PCB, there's a lot of different wasted knowledge. Exactly, wasted knowledge. There's a lot of branches. But together as the family, we all Hot Shots. You know what I mean? So always and forever, man. It's a family.
So what? So now you're done with the album. You're probably gonna be performing it.
Yep.
But what are you planning on doing this year? What's the next step?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we just had the release party. That was dope. The first video was out. The Manifest Destiny intro. That video is out right now. We decided that Ponytail is gonna be the next music video. And so yeah, I kind of wanted to just fill it out and see what the smartest thing to do was. I was stuck for a minute, didn't know what I wanted to do next. But right now I'm promoting the album. I'm starting to put attention on the video, and then I'm gearing up for the next music video. And I know the summer is usually when a lot of things cracks off.
Yeah.
But at the end of the year, towards September, I really want to tour. I really want to, because I still have a day job. But my plan, and I'm saying this publicly, hopefully my boss don't hear this, but he already know. He followed my Instagram, so he already know. But at some point, I want to step away from working the 9 to 5 and just go 100% into entertainment, not just music, but entertainment. So I want to travel. You know what I mean? I got to get out of my city, my state, my country. You know what I'm saying? So that's the overall goal, is to be able to travel and perform. I've never been able to do that.
Well, I'm sure it'll work out, man.
I believe so. I believe so.
This year, you have the perfect project to be putting out. The people that have never heard it, they'll see you perform it live and they'll be hooked, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Chris, what about you? What do you got coming up?
Man. Just keep working with artists, man. Keep lining them up. Since Prince and Oso came through, they're at home, so they're on my next project. Black and Gold is the first one. You can find that on any platform, and then Black and Gold 2 will be out hopefully by the summer. But yeah, Affiliate Entertainment, the studio is busy. People are lining up, and it's a good look now. You know, we're putting out good projects.
Good, man. You guys are working hard. Thank you guys for coming through.
Yeah, man.
No, thank you for having us, man. This is a huge opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah. Absolutely.
And before we have you perform a couple tracks from the album, we have this new segment that you didn't get a chance to do last time called 60 Seconds With.
Okay.
So this is going to be the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.